Howdy Vine Trippers. I wanted to take just a moment before the show begins to tell you a little bit about the Texas Wine Lover website and app. It is a definite must-have for anyone wanting to explore the Texas wine industry. Now, they have a website. It's txwinelover.com, but they also have an app that you can actually download to your phone. You can find it on the Apple App Store or on the Google Play Store for Android devices. And it's going to be kind of your one-stop shop for when you go out to visit these great places. So you get to listen to them here on the podcast or watch them on YouTube to learn about these wineries. But when you go to visit, make sure you're checking out that app, because I'm sure you're probably going to want to visit other places in the area as well. And you can do incredible searches. It's the most comprehensive listing of winery information in Texas. And you can look for wineries in your area to go visit multiple places. You can sort those listings by finding out ones that are kid-friendly, maybe some that are pet-friendly. If you want to look for events or things that are going on, if you want to find those that can host RVs, just about any category you can think of, you can actually sort those listings and find wineries around you to go visit. The app is free to use for you and I. So it's a perfect, again, hand-in-hand tool when you're going out to visit wineries. Listen to them on this podcast, watch them on YouTube, and then start making your plans to go visit and use the Texas Wine Lover app when you go. Now, it can also be a great tool. Maybe you're not even looking for a winery. You just happen to be traveling to some place in Texas, and you just might think, I've got a little extra time. I wonder if there are any wineries in the area. You can actually look them up in the Texas Wine Lover app. You can search either by the name of a winery, or it's got a map view. So you can actually pull up a map of the area around you and see locations of wineries near you and go visit them and support the Texas wine industry. So you got to use the Texas Wine Lover app. It goes perfectly with this podcast. So make sure you check it out before you go on your next trip among the vines. Again, it's www.txwinelover.com, or look up the Texas Wine Lover app on your favorite phone app store and make sure you get that downloaded and use it frequently. You will benefit from it and ask for Texas wines. Let's see the Texas wine industry prosper and go visit some of these fun places that I'm bringing to you on the show. Texas Under Vine, an exploratory podcast to scout out the best that Texas wine country has to offer. I'm your wine guide, Scott, and I'm here to lead you on an auditory expedition to the vineyards and wineries across the great Lone Star State. Each episode will cover a different vineyard, winery, or wine-related business operating in Texas. You'll hear interviews, descriptions, and details about each location that will excite you to visit and experience them for yourself. Ready to plan a wine tour? Use these episodes to choose the most interesting spots for you and your friends to check out. Most of all, enjoy hearing about the rapidly growing wine industry in the state and what makes our wines and wineries the best. Howdy, fellow Vine Tripper. Welcome to Season 4 and the very first episode of this season, episode 74 of the Texas Under Vine podcast. For this episode, I was able to go visit Augusta Vin in the Fredericksburg area. Now, this particular winery isn't on the traditional wine road that stretches between Fredericksburg and Johnson City on Highway 290. It's actually just a little bit southwest of town on Highway 16, just outside of the city limits. Now, the land itself that this winery is on was purchased back in 2015 by a gentleman named Scott Felder, and he had the goal and dream of trying to build a Napa-like experience for wine in the Texas Hill Country. The first vines of the 60-acre vineyard that's actually planted right there on site were first put in the ground in 2017, and now they have up to 13 different varietals in that particular vineyard, including Malbec, Cab Sauvignon, Petite Sirah, Picpoul Blanc, and Albarino, just to name a few. It is actually the largest estate vineyard here in the Central Texas area and maybe even in the state. So after they planted the vineyard in 2017, they began working on the tasting room. And the tasting room, which is now actually the members clubhouse, was opened in 2019 to the public. Now, one really interesting thing about this particular location is the site itself has very deep historical roots. The land that this is on actually used to belong to two of Fredericksburg's founding families, the Kleins and the Schmidts. And the Schmidt family actually built a homestead on this property way back in 1912 that is actually still standing today. Another really cool thing about this particular winery is the entryway as you come into the property. So as you turn off the road from Highway 16 into the big sign with Augusta Vin, you first come up and you turn to the right a little bit. You'll see their production building right there on the right. But then you kind of turn back to the left a little bit and start heading through the beautiful vineyard. You have vines on either side of the road. It's probably a quarter of a mile drive through this impressive vineyard with all the different grape varietals all around you until you come up on the tasting room in front of you and the members clubhouse there right in the middle of the vineyard. The current tasting room was actually just opened in the last year or so. The clubhouse you see on the right, the wine clubhouse for the wine members, was actually their first tasting room. It's a gorgeous, beautiful structure. And now it is for their wine club members. But they do open it up some days of the week. You'll want to listen for that in the interview for non-members to be able to come over there as well. But that doesn't put down their regular tasting room. The regular tasting room is beautiful as well. Again, right there in the middle of the vines. Great service there. It's a great facility for new people as well as their wine club members. Also, in addition to enjoying a wine tasting or drinking a glass or a bottle while you're there, one of the things they offer are some tours. So they have a vineyard tour where you can actually go through the vines. They'll talk to you about the life cycle of the vine and learn a whole bunch about wine grapes and how grapes are raised and taken from the ground to your glass. And speaking of ground to your glass, they have another tour that also goes through their production facility where you can actually go into the massive building and see how they're making the wine right there in front of you. And one of the things that Augusta Vin is really good about is taking care of their wine club members. So they do host a lot of events here at the winery that are mostly focused for their wine club members. Now, John, in the interview, did fill me in on one of their upcoming events, which is one that you can't miss if you have never done this before. It is a blending event that they did for their wine club members. And at this particular event, you get to sit down with several different base wines in front of you, and you get to, like a mad scientist, just like their winemakers at, you get to go in and kind of mix different varieties and levels of these different wines and taste them until you find the perfect blend of these different wines. And it's a lot of fun. And you really get a feel for how the winemaker goes through this process of tasting all these different varietals and putting them together to make those great blends that you get to taste in the winery tasting room. Now, as far as the wines are concerned that they offer, almost everything comes from their estate. They do source a few grapes from the Texas High Plains just to fill in a couple of gaps here and there. But for the most part, everything is estate-based, right there grown on the property. And they have everything for every palate. So everything from whites to rosés to reds. They have sparklings. They have sweet wines. They even have fortified dessert wines. So no matter what your palate is, you're going to easily find something that you love here. And if you love their wines, then joining their wine club is a no-brainer for you. You'll gain access to that incredible, beautiful wine clubhouse that was their first tasting room, and you'll get access to all those great events that John talks about a little bit in the interview today. In addition, they are a direct-to-consumer only winery. In other words, they don't do any distribution. So really, the only way you can get wines from Augusta Vin is going to the winery itself or ordering on their website and having them shipped to you. Now, if you are a wine club member, you get a great discount on those wines. And so becoming a wine club member also gets you those great wines at great prices. And while you're in doing your tasting, if you fall in love with those great wines and you decide to become a wine club member right then and there, one of their managers will actually personally escort you over to that wine clubhouse and give you a tour of everything there. So you kind of get a chance to see the beautiful property that surrounds you. Now, when I went to visit, I was actually able to sit down in that beautiful members clubhouse with one of their employees named John Martin. Now, John is their executive manager of sales, and he was able to share with me a lot about the location's history, the beauty of the property itself, and how impressive it is that they have such a large estate vineyard and have all these estate grapes for their wines. Now, on a more serious note, just a short warning, I did experience a little bit of technical issues with my audio in the first part of the interview. So for about the first 4 minutes or so, the audio is not very good. I had a battery issue run out. I don't want to get into all the weeds with all of that. But the audio, safe to say, can be a little bit muddy for those first 4 minutes. But I promise you, if you stick with me, once you get through those first 4 minutes, it clears up and we have a great interview and you get to hear all about this great property. So stick with it, and I know you're going to enjoy this interview. So with that, let's go ahead and hear from John. Howdy Vine Trippers, welcome to season 4 and the first episode here this season where I'm out in Fredericksburg at Augusta Vin. Incredible, beautiful wine tasting room here for their club members. And I'm here with John Martin, their executive manager of sales. And I would like to introduce you to him. And we're going to talk a little bit about this location and what makes it great. So, John, without further ado, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me kind of what got you into the wine industry?
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I started in the wine industry. I got recruited by one of the wineries here in Texas.
Okay.
And I was in fine dining, which a lot of us have come from the restaurant world. I was in fine dining, a role like Sempte in Detroit, Michigan, and they saw my customer service skills and a little bit of knowledge in wine. It wanted me to wrap that all in and come here, and they picked up the job.
Okay. Well, that's quite a journey from Detroit to Austin, or Austin area, should I say, Fredericksburg here. So were you planning, you were planning on focusing in on wine from the hospitality?
Let's see, I actually, I was kind of planning on making wine a focus and more of a priority. It kind of fell right into my lap.
And what was out? When did you start here with Augusta?
I've been with Augusta Vin for a little over a year and a half, but I've been here in Texas for about 14 years.
Okay. So you kind of made the journey down. So you had a little bit of time to adapt from those Michigan winters to our Texas kind of warm winters here a little bit before you actually got into the industry here. Well, tell me a little bit about Augusta Vin then. So when did it get started? And tell me a little bit about the district.
So Augusta Vin, we planted in about 2015, and they built this magnificent building around 2017.
Okay.
And the goal there was to have the best estate-grown winery in Texas. And with that comes the hospitality and everything else, but also the vines, along with winemaking, all kit caboodle. And John, that's still the goal to this day.
And there's a beautiful vineyard out front. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yes, the vineyard is beautiful. The vineyard, right around real close to 60 acres. And that's the largest estate-grown winery in Texas, by the way. Also, we have 11 red varietals, 2 white. Very interesting. Very proud of it. About a half-mile drive from the road here, and it's...
Yeah, I love the drive to first coming off the road, do the gates, and then you turn right in. There's the winery building. They were making the great mad wines, and then you turn into the vines. It's just this journey. It feels very old world, kind of driving in through the vines all around the side, and then the winery comes into view as you come up to the tasting room and all of that.
Yeah, we're very proud of that.
Yeah.
Cool. It's gorgeous.
And this building here, which is now a members tasting room, used to be the original tasting room, and now you built a new tasting room just next door, where you have them for anybody coming in to go there, and this is reserved for the wine.
That's the most interesting part for me, because I came to it a little later, so not really by design, but what happened was we grew out of this build.
Okay.
So we needed more lean, so we built a tasting room, and it immediately became a tasting room for non-members. And then this came strictly for members, so the members only room on the weekend. Right. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, when that buildings is not open, we open it up. It's the lower level for everyone, and upstairs for members only. So, okay, we keep it very exclusive for our members. We're real happy about that, and members are as well.
So tell me a little bit about the name Augusta Vin. Where did that come from?
Very interesting. So Augusta, which is Latin, and it means most magnificent.
Okay.
Vin meaning wine.
Yeah.
So the Roman emperors, I from what I understand, was paying homage to the women in their lives, their children as well as their wives, and that they Augusta was as a name, magnificent. So we took that on, magnificent wine.
Okay.
That's a part of our mission statement, so to speak.
Oh, really?
Make magnificent wine.
I love that. So kind of like from the Caesar Augustus kind of days. Interesting. Well, what about this location? So you're not necessarily on the direct wine road that people think of on 290. You're more kind of southwest of Fredericksburg on 16. So what about this location? Why was this location picked? Do you have that information or no?
Well, the location originally was the founding fathers of Fredericksburg, the Klein family and Schmidt family, owned this location.
Really?
About 500 acres. Mr. Felder, when he purchased it was producing grain for the city of Fredericksburg.
Wow.
And his vision was to grow a winery here, and that's exactly what he did. That's what happened. So he 2015 he planted the grapes, and then 2017 he built this magnificent building.
Yeah. So it's a very historical property.
Very. In fact, true is the Kleins and the Schmidts both have grave sites on this property.
Oh, really?
Yes, they do.
The original
owners.
Settlers there.
Settlers of Fredericksburg.
Interesting. That is a really historical spot. Now you have the vineyard, 60 acres, the biggest one in Estate Vineyard in Texas.
That's right.
Your winery. That's cool. That's a really neat story. So let's talk about we talked about the vineyard here. Let's talk a little bit about the fruit. So are you completely estate? Is this the only place you get fruit from, or you source from other locations?
We do source a little from the High Plains as well. I will tell you this, we do have the largest selection or largest amount of varietals also in Texas.
Okay.
I believe in that for sure in Fredericksburg. But I should say the majority of our wines are coming right from this, right
the vineyard right here.
Right directly in front of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know what some of those varietals are, what you have planted there?
Yeah, they're mostly Italian as well as French.
Okay.
But they're like right out in front here, right when you're looking right in the beginning, that's all Sagrantino, which is a very unusual wine. They have a Petite Sirah that's flying off the shelf right now, and mostly red varietals is what we're known for.
Okay. When I was driving in, I noticed you have some of the names of different. I saw Malbec out there, French. I saw
Malbec. There's a Cab out there.
Okay. Picpoul and Albarino. Are those your two white varietals?
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of different things. Did you say how many varietals you had planted out there?
13.
13. That's right. Okay. 13 different varietals. Wow. Lots of different things to choose from. And so most of your wines are going to be those estate-based wines.
Yes.
And do you do blends from some of those as well?
We have a couple really nice blends as well. Dragonfly. We have a couple blends that are just outstanding.
Awesome. Do you process most of those wines here on site then?
Right here on site, we have our own production facility, and a great winemaker. His name is Zach Rains, and we're very proud of what we do here. We do everything right here on site.
Well, Zach is no stranger to this podcast, as I was able to interview Zach at another location before he came to Augusta Vin. So I love Zach, great guy and a good winemaker as well. So I'm sure making those magnificent wines now here at Augusta Vin. So you've got that beautiful facility. And for listeners, when you come in, when you first come through the gates and you kind of turn to the right, you'll see that production facility right there before you turn into the vines. And so
we have multiple tours where you can take a tour of that facility as well. So it teaches you exactly how wine is made.
Yeah.
And go right through the whole process. And then
Oh,
you
wow.
actually taste the wine as well.
I saw the little tram out front. So I
Yeah.
imagine you kind of go through the vines and everything
Right.
and go to the production facility. Is that something that they can like reserve on your website or
They
something?
can reserve on our website or just call and we'll get you all set up.
Okay. Well, that would be a beautiful tour. Listeners, you gotta look for that one because that would be a really interesting thing to see all of that. What about wine? So what are some of your most popular wines that you sell? You mentioned the Petite Sirah a moment ago, but
Yeah, Petite Sirah it's just very good. I mean, we're real proud of what we have right here on site, obviously. I think also my favorite is actually the Cabernet, because Cabernet, if you look at a family tree, you know, it's an offshoot of the Cab Franc and the Sauvignon Blanc.
yeah.
So then the Cabernet right here on site is outstanding.
Yeah.
So Cabernet, you know, it's very easily grown anywhere. Everybody has a Cabernet. It's the number one grown wine in the world. So I'm real proud of ours.
And there's not a whole lot of people growing Cab Sauvignon in the Central Texas area, at least. So to be able to have that with the kind of Central Texas terroir for the drinkers is a really cool thing to be able to drink that Central Texas Cab Sauvignon
Yeah,
and see what it's like grown right here on property.
exactly.
Where they used to grow the grain that they would take in. I love that. I'm so fascinated still by that historical story. It is really cool. Well, so being the director of sales here, you're not involved in the winemaking process, but do you have a favorite wine or wines that you really enjoy?
I gotta say those two wines that I spoke earlier of, the Petite Sirah and the Cabernet. The Petite Sirah, you know, it's got that fruit forward, little hit of plum, and maybe a little. The tannic is calmed down a little bit.
Right.
I really enjoy that.
Okay.
And also the Cabernet, you know, it's just they're drinking really well right now.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the location itself here for a moment. Do you do any kind of activities or events or things like that people can come see the place?
We have everything's really, truthfully, is geared towards the wine club member.
Okay, sure.
So which this building enhances. So the wine club member, currently every month we have a wine club event, as we call it, when we take our sommelier and we do something like we did. We introduced our sparkling wines, and then the next time we introduced the port. This next one in January, we're gonna have a blending experience.
Oh, those are fun.
So she's gonna teach them how to blend. We're gonna bring all our single varietals out,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do a blending experience. But I think that we do that once a month, and keeps us pretty busy.
Yeah.
It's going pretty good.
That's an event that's not to be missed, because for the casual wine drinker to take for granted what these incredible winemakers are doing to make these incredible blends, and when you go and you start trying it yourself and you start figuring out, wow, you know, these guys really know what they're doing when they're making incredible wine.
Yeah, it's a little harder than you think.
Exactly.
The other part of it is with our sommelier. What I like about that, as you know, you're a level 3.
Sure.
We said so. She has the ability to bring herself up or down with any level, you know, so she can talk to you or somebody that has no knowledge, brand new to wine industry, and it makes a really good experience for the customer.
Very approachable.
Very approachable. We answer all questions. We just make it fun.
You don't need to be an expert. You just got to like wine.
It's gotta like it and like what you're making.
There you go.
Making your
Experiment and maybe you'll find your own perfect blend that you'll say, okay, this is it now.
just trust your palate.
There you go. I love it. Well, let's talk about when a listener or watcher is getting excited, they might want to come visit and do a tasting here for the first time, what that might look like. So when someone comes in for a tasting, is it like a set flight of wines, or do they get to pick their own wines for their tasting? What does a tasting cost? Things like that.
Okay, so our tasting across the board costs $35.
Okay.
We want everyone to become a member. We know that's not possible, but if they do become a member, we'll refund that $35.
Okay.
So the tasting experience, we have two flights. We have a mixed or a red flight.
Okay.
A mix is white and red, obviously. Now, if somebody comes in here and they want to do, and they're a sweet wine drinker, we'll accommodate that. We'll jump right into a sweet wine tasting.
Okay.
We'll accommodate what people want. But I think the main thing about our tasting is you get to enjoy the wines. When you like the wines, you're not going to be able to find it anywhere unless you join the wine club, and that's where you want to be.
That's your key access.
That's your key access right there.
You mentioned sweet wines, and I heard you mention sparkling a moment ago. So, Tiggy, you have kind of an array for every palate.
We have something for
Rosés.
Yeah,
And sweet.
we have a sweet club. We have a rosé club, a red club,
And you mentioned port, so even
or
fortified dessert style wines.
sure.
The whole gamut is
The whole
here
gamut
for
is right here.
every person.
One-stop shopping.
I love that. That's really cool. Well, what are your operating hours?
So operating hours, every day we're open from 11 to 5:30, and we close at 5:30, but we get everybody out of here by 6.
Okay.
On Saturday 12 to 6. Then we open at 11 on Saturday.
Okay.
So every other day it's from 12 to 6.
Gotcha. All right. And then are you family friendly for people with kids, things like that, or
We're
21
not.
and older?
You have to be 21 and older.
Perfect. That's good to know. I like to
Yeah.
add the listeners so know this before they come. So
Sure.
what about pets or things like that? Pet friendly?
No pets. We, of course, service dogs are always welcomed.
Okay. Well, one of the things that goes great with wine is food. Do you have any kind of food options, or can customers bring their own food?
We have food options. We have a sandwich and a charcuterie menu in both buildings.
Okay.
And it's very good. We keep it very fresh. It's
Right.
very
There's a lot of options
a
there.
lot of options.
Okay. What about group sizes? Do you have any maximum group sizes?
We really don't because we have so much room. But we do recommend, a reservation. Make a reservation,
Okay.
and we recommend it, but it's not
Not required.
not required.
Okay. So you do walk-ins just fine.
Sure.
Can they make those reservations on the website, or
Yeah.
do they call a number, or both? Or
Both,
Okay, they can do either or.
either or.
Okay. And having that heads up will help you prepare. That way you give them the best
Right.
experience, right?
Sure.
Okay. So walk-ins are okay, but reservations are best because it gets you
Gives
the
you-
best experience you can get.
Right. Exactly.
Gotcha. What are your busier and slower seasons? What's the best time for someone to come visit?
Well, I always think, the heat of the summer to me is the best time because I would say late July, early August. There's a time of year, and the grapes, the clusters are 2 colors.
Yeah.
That's called Veraison, and in that time to me is the most beautiful time to come, the best time to come.
And especially with the vineyard right here, I mean, you get to really see all
And
of
see
that.
it. We allow our customers to go out in the vines.
Oh, yeah?
As long as they don't pick the wine, the grapes. Leave
not ready yet.
the grapes alone. So but we'll always get them out there.
And that's a perfect time to do one of those tours, especially then to really see all the beautiful grapes and color and
Yeah, we
everything.
we have a couple of different tours. We have a production tour where we show how wine's made. We also have a vineyard tour where our sommelier will take you on a tour that will show you the growth cycle and things about the vines.
So really talk about the life of the vineyard and the
Yeah.
grape through there.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So we talked a little bit about the wine club, and we mentioned a minute ago, the goal is to get people hopefully to join the wine club and get that
Right.
full access to everything. So tell me a little bit about the wine club. How can somebody become a member?
Yeah, the wine club is where most people usually want to go because they like our wine, and to get our wine, you should be in the wine club because it drops the price down.
Okay.
The other part of it is you're not going to find it anywhere. So we don't distribute except for through wine club membership.
Okay.
Of course, you can come here and buy it,
Yeah.
but you're buying it at a premium, and when
Sure.
you can buy it at a lower price through the wine club membership.
Okay.
Our wine club membership it's not very impending. It's 4 allocations.
Okay.
And the minimum is 3 bottles. You can get more. Obviously, it's 3, 6, or 12. 3 bottles 4 times a year, which is only 12 bottles. So that's not very much. I always ask people, how many bottles of wine do you drink a month?
Yeah.
you know, and if they calculate that a little bit, well, I drink more than one a month.
Yeah.
Most people do.
Every time they go to HEB, put a bottle in your cart, right?
Yeah.
Might as well take that money and put it to
Right.
some really good Texas wine.
Exactly. I mean, it's just the thing that they should do because they know they like the wine after they do a tasting.
And then any other benefits? You talked about some of the events that you do for the wine club members?
we have member events. We got member parking. All everything's geared towards the membership.
And access to this incredible tasting room here with the beautiful wood ceilings. And it's just this place is, you got to come see this place. It's fantastic. So
what we do at the tasting room, everybody gets escorted over here after they join the.
Oh, really? Okay.
Personally, by myself or another manager. Our management is required to escort them over.
Okay, and get that personal tour of the location. And
we talk a little bit about the wine and the vine, the grapes, and we give them a little bit of a walking tour, so to speak.
It's a full induction experience into the wine club when you become a member, huh?
Sure.
It's not just, okay, here's your wines. You get a full grand
we'll get
experience.
Get them over here.
We talked about, you mentioned no distribution, but do you sell your wines on the website by any chance? Can people buy that way?
Yeah, you can sell. You can purchase on the website, obviously, but without becoming a member, like I say, their price is way higher.
It's a little higher.
A little higher.
I'm just trying to think of maybe some of my listeners or watchers who can't get here for whatever reason. Maybe they're too far away, or I live out of state, or things like that might want to taste the wines but can't necessarily get here as easily yet. So that might be an option for them to be able to get something and taste it ahead of time.
They could do that. We do have a $20 shipping fee, so that's a lot of times that's a lot cheaper than driving.
Sure.
So that's a good perk as well.
And we talked about joining the wine club here. Can they join on the website if they taste the wines and they want to become members?
Sure.
Okay. Perfect.
That way they're already a member, come right in, they come right to the clubhouse.
Okay. Excellent. Well, do you have any plans for future growth?
Okay, well, the future growth, we don't have immediate plans, but we do have the capability to grow 4 or 5 times higher than where we are right now. So we have all that capability.
Yeah. You're already structured and built to be able to scale up?
Yes.
Okay. And any exciting plans coming down the road to get people excited about? That you can share?
Yeah, well, there's not much I can share that I don't want our competitors to hear about, but we do have, the Christmas season is upon us, so we'd love to have some people come in and, we have holiday bundles and things you can purchase for gift items.
And I love how we are in the Christmas season right now while I'm doing the interview. This episode will come out after the holiday season, but I love how decorated you really embrace the season, and it's just a beautiful way you take care of the winery here.
Thank you.
So as we get ready to kind of start winding up the interview a little bit here, is there anything that you've never been asked in an interview or about Augusta Vin that you've always been dying to share with people?
Oh boy, that's good. I guess maybe a little bit about my story and how I came down and how I've been successfm I'm always hired for growth.
Yeah.
And I've been successful at multiple places. And I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
But most importantly, I think I'm proud of this place.
Okay.
So I kind of liken it to like the girlfriend you finally come across that you want to take home and show your mom.
All right.
Some girls you can't. So this is a place that I'm very proud of.
So this is mom material winery.
This is mom material right here. This is the best.
I love that example. That's great. Well, there are a lot of great places in Texas that people can go to drink amazing wine, Augusta Vin being one of those. So what, in your opinion, really sets Augusta Vin kind of head and shoulders above everyone else that would make people say, you know what, I got to move that up my list and get there as soon as I can?
There's a couple things. I think to come here is the beauty of the property is number one.
Yeah.
Then number two is they have excellent wine. So we have excellent wine, beauty of the property. We try to make our wine match the beauty of the property.
Okay.
And we're right there right now. The other part of it is you come here just to unwind and relax. It's special.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. The beauty of the property and those incredible tasting estate wines that they have there that match that beauty makes for a beautiful day of wine drinking in the heart of the Texas wine country. Now, make sure to check out their website before you go. It's www.augustavin.com. And on that particular website, you're going to find more information about the winery itself. You'll find a place for articles that were written about the winery and some of the awards and press that they've received. You'll also find their event calendar there, and you'll be able to find out about all their different wines and see what they've got and even order them there if you'd like to. And you can also sign up for those cool tours that John talked about in the interview. Lastly, you can also join their wine club right there on their website if you fell in love with those wines. And don't forget, when you go to see them, make sure you tell them you heard about them on this podcast, Texas Under Vine. All right. Once we finished our interview, John took me downstairs to their tasting bar area so that I could do a tasting of some of those great wines. And he set me up with their somm, who was on site, who walked me through a lot of these great wines. Now, I was able to taste a bunch of little small bites as well whenever I was going through. So it was really fun to see the comparison of the wine by itself in comparison to after you take the little small bite of something and then taste the wine. Really cool, fun experience as part of that whole tasting scenario, as well as the somm explaining all the wines to me. Another cool thing they did is they brought a little plate out with two little clusters of grapes on there that were pulled directly from their vineyard. And so I got to kind of see and look at the grapes themselves from two different varietals that they grow there on site. And as always, I tasted a lot of great wines that I really enjoyed there at Augusta Vin, and the time came for me to narrow it down to the one wine that I wanted to purchase as my episode wine library for this particular episode. And when all was said and done, I chose the 2022 Petite Sirah. Now, this is their estate Petite Sirah that John mentioned in the interview. Now, he kept going on and on about this wine and how much he loved it, and I can see why. It is, as he said, very fruit forward. You do get a lot of those plum notes, a lot of great dark fruit in this particular wine, but it was also very balanced. It is a bold wine, don't get me wrong, but it's very balanced. It would go very well with great food pairings, or this is just a great one just to sip on, especially in the cold winter months like we're in right now. So when you go, make sure you try that Estate Petite Sirah. It's a winner for sure. So I brought a bottle of that home for my wine library. Well, I really enjoyed my visit to this property, but season 4 of the podcast has just begun, and I've got lots more great locations to bring to you as well. So it's time for me to go ahead and move on down the road. Before I go, however, I do have one special request. If you are enjoying the content that I'm bringing to you about these great Texas wine destinations and the awesome Texas wine that they're producing, there, I'm sure, are a lot of other people out there who would love to know this information as well. And one of the ways we can get that in front of them is for you to share the podcast with your wine-loving friends, but also, if you'd be willing to go out and leave me a rating and review for the podcast, wherever you get the show, it would really make a big difference because it really does get the show out to the eyes of other people who may be curious about Texas wine destinations, or some of those people who say Texas has wine, and we can really turn them on to some really great wines and really great wine destinations. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's free to do. So that would really make a big difference for me if you'd be willing to go out and do that. Also, for those watching this on my YouTube channel, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe down below, and leave me a comment down below the video. Tell me if you've been to Augusta Vin, what's your favorite thing about this particular location? Or, as always, if you haven't been, but now you're excited to go after watching this particular episode, make sure to tell me, what are you looking forward to most about going to see when you go to Augusta Vin? And with that, my time is up. So don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow my socials to be notified anytime a new episode is released. And until then, happy trails and bottoms up, y'all. Thanks for listening to Texas Under Vine. We strive to provide you with the best information about wine businesses all over Texas. Be sure to check out our website at texasundervine.com and follow us on our socials at Texas Under Vine to stay up on all the upcoming episodes. Please email us with any suggestions or feedback. Also, contact us if you're interested in donating, sponsoring, or advertising on the podcast, just to help us cover our expenses and bring even more great info to you in future episodes. Above all, travel safely, and most especially, drink responsibly. Howdy Howdy Vine Trippers. Before we go, I wanted to direct you to my website, www.texasundervine, because there you're going to find a whole host of things. Besides access to the audio versions and the video versions of the podcast, you can also get those on any podcast provider, and then the video on YouTube. But there you're going to find a couple of things. Did you know that I actually sold some Texas Under Vine merchandise? I only have a handful of items available, about 5 different things, but they are up on my store. So if you go to the website, texasundervine.com, and go to the top, you're going to see a link for the merchandise store, and there you can get your own Texas Under Vine swag to proudly show all of your friends that you support the Texas wine industry, and you can get them started on and hooked on the podcast as well, so they can go visit even more of these great wine destinations. But in addition to the store, I also have a Patreon for my subscribers, people that support this show. I do this all out of a work of love from my heart. I do not make any money on this podcast. I'm actually in the red because I support it all out of my own pocket as a teacher. And it's mainly because I love wine and I love the Texas wine industry. So if you're willing to help me do that and you'd like to see more of these great episodes, hear more from these amazing winemakers, learn more about some fun destinations for you to go and visit on your own, I would appreciate if you would be willing to subscribe to my Patreon. So at the top of my website page, again, you'll find a Become a Patron link. And there you can get all the information about becoming a subscriber to the podcast here as a Patreon subscriber. It only costs a few dollars a month if you're willing to commit that. And there are various levels that you can commit to that each give you behind the scenes benefits that you don't get. And I do have some new things in the pipeline coming down soon. So you want to get on that sooner than later. But right now you can get things like behind the scenes photos at different wineries. You can get things like at one level, you'll get a video walkthrough of the winery. So for every episode, I will post a video walkthrough of me taking you through the winery itself so you can see what it's like before you go. And then at one level, you can even find out before everyone else where I'm headed the next week on the show as it comes out. So you'll know before everyone else. You get a sneak peek. So there's just different levels of benefits, and they all cost a different amount. And as you subscribe, you become the heart of this podcast. You really are what helps me succeed. You are my community and my people. And thank you so much for those that do subscribe. So if you're interested in joining Patreon, check the Become a Patron link at the top of the website. So again, the website is www.texasundervine.com. You can also go to all of my socials. I'm at Texas Under Vine on almost all the social accounts. And check it out and consider sponsoring the podcast and maybe even buying some of that really cool swag on the merchandise store. Happy trails and bottoms up, Vine Trippers.